How do? Strap yourself in, because it's probably going to be a long one. I've just turned 40, like, literally, what day is it, Friday? 3 days ago I turned 40. And because there wasn't anything, like, overly, like, huge or sentimental I wanted for my 40th birthday, I've just done what every, like, self-respecting gamer does and just asked for games. So I've got quite a little bit to show. Susie kept spending money on me. I kept telling her not to, but she just kept on doing it, and I very much appreciate it, but I do feel like she spent too much on me. On top of that, there's a couple of other little pickups from before my birthday as well, so I've got quite a bit to get through. I think I've shown it all on Instagram, so if you've seen it all on Instagram, then, you know, so be it, but if you haven't, then there's just quite a bit to get your teeth stuck into. I had a lovely birthday. I kind of wanted the anti-40th. I don't like parties, I don't like being the centre of attention, I don't like a fuss being made of me. So I kind of kept the slate clean on my actual birthday. I went to see my mum the day before, and I'm seeing my sister and her partner tomorrow, as of filming. So, you know, I am seeing people, but I am just kind of like keeping it low key. And yeah, just had a quiet day. Went for a coffee in the afternoon. We were supposed to be going in the morning, but a delivery that was supposed to be coming the day after decided he was going to turn up on my birthday instead. So we had to wait in for that. So we went for a coffee in the afternoon, and then got a takeaway, watched a film at night. It was just the absolute perfect night for me. I wouldn't have it any other way. So yeah, little story about the coffee. Actually, we went for the coffee, and one of Susie's friends, like, shout out to Marie, shout out. What the fuck was that all about? Shout out. Sometimes I just say things, and then I don't think about how ridiculous they sound until after I've said them. Anyway, yeah, Marie, she caught wind that we were going for a cup of coffee at Starbucks, and she sent over a £10 Starbucks voucher, and she was like, yeah, it's on me, which was very much appreciated. So anyway, we got to Starbucks, and I tried scanning the voucher thing on my phone. There's two different things. There's one which is scan only, where you just get the points on your purchase, and then the scan and pay, where you spend your balance and get the points. And the scan and pay wasn't picking up, so she's like, just try it on scan only, it'll still work. So I tried it on scan only. Long story short, I got a cup of coffee for me and Susie, went and sat down, checked my account, the balance hadn't gone down, but my points had gone on. So yeah, free coffee on my birthday, and I'd not even got enough sort of, so you get like a yearly point balance where if you get like past a certain point in a year, you do get a free drink on your birthday, but I'd not got past that point. So yeah, free drinks. I hope she didn't get in trouble for that. It also pushed me up over the 1,000 points I needed to redeem for a free coffee cup, which I've been saving for, which is nice. I like a travel mug. I like them for when I'm in here, because I've got to carry up 2 flights of stairs. But I have them on my way to work as well, especially in a dark, cold morning. So yeah, free travel cup. Starbucks branded. I don't know what it is. I'm just a corporate shill, but I love Starbucks. I love the branding and everything. I thought this was just a plastic cup, but like a recycled one. But it's made with used coffee grounds, it says. So it's actually, I'm drinking coffee out of a cup made of coffee. I mean, obviously the green bits are plastic, but yeah. So enough about that shit. Before my birthday then, a couple of pre-orders come in, and I got a little free bundle, which is nice. The pre-orders, first set of pre-orders are from Evercade. I'm not going to go too far into these. There's the Indie Heroes 4. We're getting to like collection number 4 and some things now. And Broken Sword collection, 2 of which I've been very interested in getting. These are going to be 2 of the big cartridges for me for this year for Evercade, I think, and they both come out on the same day. They used to have all the games written on the back of the box, and they've stopped doing it for whatever reason. Evercade, if you're watching, please bring that back. It's a lot easier for this kind of thing. So, on Indie Heroes 4, we've got The Curse of Ilmar Bay, which looks like a really cool platformer. I'm looking forward to that one. Block'em Sock'em, looks like some kind of puzzle game. I don't really know anything about it, but I'll probably give it a go. The graphics look nice. Nightmare, which looks like a bit of a Castlevania kind of like, you know, old school like Game Boy Castlevania type, which I'm not too keen on, but I'll have a go. Jane Austen's 8-Bit Adventure, which I've heard a lot about, and it looks so cheaply made, but it's supposed to be really fun. Collie Defense, I don't know about that, but it looks like a sort of tower defense game based around sheepdogging and foxes. So I'm not keen on tower defense games. Can't get my head around them. Flea 2, which is an absolute must-play for me. Flea 1 is one of my favourite indie games of all time. Batty Zabella is like a Game Boy point-and-click game based on like a sort of vampirella kind of female vampire. I think she's looking for a husband who's gone missing. Murtop, I don't know much about that, but it looks a bit sort of Boulder Dashy. Is it Boulder Dash? A bit sort of Boulder Dash, a bit sort of Mr. Driller, Dig Dug kind of thing. Soko Banana is apparently a puzzle game about monkeys. Starseed looks like a sort of, yeah, shoot 'em up. But yeah, and Block Dropping, which isn't like a Tetris kind of block game, but yeah, quite a lot of games on there, most of which I want to play. I'm really looking forward to Flea 2. It is so high up on my to playlist, it's untrue. And then obviously Broken Sword Collection. It says what it's, does what it says on the tin. Broken Sword and Broken Sword 2. Super excited for this. Even though they're remastering Broken Sword, it's the PS1 version of the game that I'm nostalgic for, because I had both Broken Sword 1 and 2 on the PS1, and that's how I played them and experienced them. So that's what's been emulated on these, that's really good for me. So Evercade out of the way. Oh, not quite out of the way. They normally come bundled with an item. If you get them, if you buy, you can, they release the games in 2. Yeah, when you buy them in 2s, you can opt to get them with an item bundled in for a discount price as well, which I quite often do. I didn't the time before last because it was a baseball cap, and although it was a nice baseball cap, it was the baseball cap they brought out beforehand was far too small for my head, and I have a big head, but it felt too small for anyone's head, if you get what I mean. It felt like a child's size, so I didn't bother getting the one before that. But this time I couldn't resist, because it's a little plush of the Evercade mascot Cady, and I could not resist that, being a big old Evercade fanboy that I am. I had to have that. The only thing that bothers me about this is his legs. They remind me of Jimmy from South Park, if you know what I mean. But yeah, a really cool little plush. It's going to sit on my shelf next to my Flea plush on my Evercade shelf. Lovely jubbly, absolutely love that. So yeah, I was at my sister's house a couple of weeks back, and she was telling me about our recently, very recently actually, quite recently, they've upgraded from their Xbox One, they're an Xbox household, to the Xbox Series S, which means that they are now digital only. It's good for them, to be honest. I've been telling them to do it for a while, to get Game Pass and get games that way, because they are, and I don't mean this in any derogatory sense of the word, they are quite casual gamers. They don't play casual games, they're not like Fortnite and whatever else kids are into, Hello Neighbour or whatever. They play stuff like Skyrim, Dragon Age, they play basically sort of RPG games. My sister's partner Myron, he's playing through Tears of the Kingdom at the minute, I think, or is he still on Breath of the Wild? Probably still on Breath of the Wild. So they like that kind of thing. But they don't play many games, and I've told them, basically, been telling them for a while they should get on Game Pass. So they did take me up on that, and they got an Xbox Series S, and then they kept their Xbox One for their physical games that they'd already got. Well, their Xbox One packed in, didn't it? So I inquired what was happening to their collection of physical games, with the full intent of paying for them, and they just said I could just basically have them. So I made out like an absolute bandit. All of these games I do own in some capacity already, mostly on the PlayStation, but there's only one game that I already owned on the Xbox, and that was Mass Effect Legendary Edition, so I now have 2 copies of that. I've been trying to get rid of it, can't give it away it seems, but if anybody would like a free copy of Mass Effect Legendary Edition, get in touch sooner rather than later, because next time I go into town I might actually see Exodus, because I think I can still get about £6 for it. So yeah, but if anybody wants it, give me a shout. We got Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, which is the 4th copy of this now that we own. Because we got it on the PS3 when it first came out, then we've got the Re-Reckoning on the PS4, was it? Then later on we got, well, Susie got us I think it was a birthday present, she got Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning on the Switch as well, just to see how well it'd play on the Switch. Now we've got it on the Xbox One as well. Not long back I did see this in a charity shop on the 360 as well, and I thought should I pick it up back then, just because of the comical amount of copies of this game we've got. I should have, because I think that would have ticked every box console wise. Following up from Mass Effect Legendary Edition, there's Mass Effect Andromeda, which I do think I'm gonna. Well, it is on my pile to play, but for some reason, because Mass Effect is an Xbox franchise for me. For some reason, when it first came out, I decided to pick up Andromeda on the PS4, and so I had that on my list of games to replay under my telly, and I think I want to swap it out for the Xbox version just because it feels more at home on the Xbox for me. This one's still sealed, and that's Biomutant. Really hard to like show a sealed game because of the glare, but yeah, Biomutant's an absolutely amazing game. Again, I've got it on the PS4 already, but I think this will spur me on to replay it on the Xbox. A very dusty box. We have Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which again I've got it on the PS4, but it's a great game. This one we have digitally on the Xbox, which is Dragon Age Inquisition Game of the Year edition. No physical copy. We got a physical copy of the standard edition on the PS4, but it's cool to have Game of the Year edition physically. And the standard edition of Fallout 4, which I have on the PS4, and I have the Game of the Year edition on the Xbox. I've not got the standard edition on the Xbox, so I'm keeping hold of that, just for the shelf's sake. Can't remember if this was before or after that, but another pre-order came in on the PS5, and that's probably the game that I've been looking forward to most this year already. And that's Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. I've played through this. At first I was like, it wasn't great, but when it kind of like clicked with me, I really, really enjoyed playing that. It's not the longest Yakuza game ever, but saying that, I had a rare moment where I basically did everything, which I don't normally do in the Yakuza games. It just depends when the mood takes me. But yeah, quite often I kind of just pick and choose what I do, but on that one I pretty much did everything in the game and really enjoyed it. It's like, I'm going to go more into this basically on a more of a review capacity on my what I've been playing video. But yeah, it's kind of like a mashup of standard Yakuza. It's got like the naval combat of Assassin's Creed, but kind of arcaded up a little bit, simplified. And then it's got kind of like Dynasty Warriors kind of sort of arena combat, if you get what I mean. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, coming up to my birthday, I decided. Well, I know I'd asked for a few Switch games, and for my Switch games, I like to keep the boxes up here, but I like to keep the cards in like little separate carriers, so I can just get them out and play them on a whim. The carriers I use are these they're from a company called Jingdu on Amazon, and they hold I think it's 24 games. I knew mine was coming to be full very soon, so I knew I was getting some more Switch games for my birthday. So I bought a new one of them, which is modelled on the little pad thing that Link carries on Zelda, Breath of the Wild and that. Yeah, there's a lot of companies that do these cases on Amazon, but I always go for Jingdu because they're the ones that I sort of know and trust, if you get what I mean. They're just about the size of a normal Switch case. They hold 24 games, and they kind of just magnetise open and closed. Feel really sturdy. I've never had a game actually fall out. In fact, they're quite difficult to get the games out, so you know they're secure. This one is looking pretty full already. What it is we had an Animal Crossing. Well, we have an Animal Crossing one. I got an Animal Crossing one, a Zelda one based on like the Hyrule Crest, Mario one, and then this new Zelda one. And when we got the new ones, we just transferred basically all of Susie's games into the Animal Crossing one, and that meant this one was nearly full. So I will be picking up another one of these fairly shortly. Susie's only got 5 games, but still, it's cool for her to have her own sort of case to carry around. So birthday presents then, actual birthday presents. This big lot, this first lot are all from Susie. Most of it's from Susie actually. Then I got some vouchers I got one voucher from Mum and then one voucher from my sister Helen and her partner Myron. Put them together to get more games. I forgot to mention actually before I started that Susie also has bought me, she bought herself Avowed on the Xbox digitally because it's not a physical game. We don't have Game Pass, and she decided it would be better for her to just own the game rather than get Game Pass for a bit and play it. I'm not sure if she's particularly enjoying it that much, but you know, it looks kind of cool. I don't know if I'll ever get around to playing it, but it looks alright. And yeah, I bought it on Steam actually, first WWE 2K25, and At first I was really impressed by it because I'm just basically discovering PC gaming because I got a ROG Ally and I was so happy with how it was running, but it's not so much how it's running. Well, it is. Running handheld is fine, it's locked to 60 Hz, the refresh rate or something. So my monitor's alright playing if I turn VSync off, but then I get like weird little artifacts on some bits on screen. It doesn't like running at all on my TV downstairs, and this is why I don't like PC gaming, because I don't like having to fuck about every time I want to play a different game. I just like getting a console and then you just put the game in and it works. But yeah, so that was kind of pissing me off a little bit, and then I didn't realise when I bought the PC version, because I wanted it to mod, but they'd basically nerfed the PC version this year to basically stop the modders, essentially. People are modding in like people who were in the game files but have been removed for various reasons, like Brock Lesnar after the whole sex trafficking ordeal. People are modding him back into the game, and the company didn't like that, so they've basically lumped the PC version in with last generation console releases in terms of what you can have on DLC and like user content and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not ideal really, and I was kind of annoyed, and I couldn't ask for a refund because I got it from CD Keys and not Steam itself, so I couldn't get my money back for it. But Susie bought me another copy of it digitally on the Xbox as well, so we've bought WWE 2K25 twice. So yeah, not ideal, but what can you do? I'm enjoying it a lot more on the Xbox, and to be honest, because we got it from CD Keys and not from the actual storefronts themselves, like I said, it had the problem that I couldn't get my money back for the PC version, but we got the PC version, we got quite a bit knocked off that because it was cheaper than the rest anyway on CD Keys. And then the Xbox One was on like a sale price when we got it, so we haven't actually paid much more than the asking price anyway for it, which is kind of a bit of a saving grace, but still could have done without buying it twice. So yeah, I am very much enjoying WWE. It's just a shame what they've done to it to nerf the PC gamers. The sun's gone in now, hasn't it? And it's a bit dark in here. You've probably noticed I've had a bit of a move around in my game room, and I'm just trying to find a decent viewpoint for these videos, if you get what I mean. So yeah, the point of view is probably going to be changing a little bit for the next few videos at least. On to my presents from Susie. This one's one that I really wanted, and I'm so glad I've got it, because I didn't think I'd actually ever get to it before it sold out, because it was only available from Red Art Games, which I believe are in France, and it's a game that sounded so far up my street it was basically in my back garden. So yeah, that game is Brock the Investigator, and what it is a point and click game, but between Gabby? I'm up here, you dickhead. Right, okay. But what it is, it's a point and click game, but in between the point and click sections there are sections which operate as a beat 'em up game. Like, if anything action pack's going to happen, it'll transfer to like a side scrolling bell action beat 'em up, which, as you know probably if you've watched many of my other videos or follow me on Instagram, I'm super huge into beat 'em ups. So yeah, that's Brock the Investigator. Really looking forward to getting my teeth into that. It blends action and investigation in never before seen ways, but the immediate thing that popped into my head when I first heard about it was Cosmic Spacehead on the Mega Drive, which it wasn't a beat 'em up, fair enough, but this had the same sort of thing. It had scenes of like point and click, but between the point and click sections there were like 2D run and jump platformers. It brings to mind that essentially, but obviously they weren't beat 'em ups, and it was also not a great game. It's a little limited release. It didn't say collector's edition, it was like an exclusive edition, it said, from Red Art Games. So it come with, I hate, by the way, tuck boxes. More on these later. Give us a sleeve. Tuck boxes, you always damage the box trying to get everything back in and close it up. Yeah, it came with the standard version of the game, which is cool, and it's got on the inside I've taken out the game cases to put into the Jingdu cases, which I told you about earlier. It's got a different cover, like a reversible cover, which I actually think I prefer. So yeah, that's the standard one, and that's the reversible one, and that's the one I'm using because I just think it looks better. Cool, cool, cool. It's got a poster inside, which I will likely make use of. It's got the main box art on one side, and on the other side it's got like a more Saturday morning looking kind of thing. I think this is a screen from the actual game, maybe. I'm just gearing up to have a rook with some rat people. Oh, that's pretty cool. Then also in the box there's this art book, which, you know, it's your standard sort of art book. It's got all concept art and stuff. I don't really tend to get much out of these. I know a lot of people love them, but I tend to have a flick through once and never look at them again. But yeah, that's all there is in it. It's not like a special edition, it just said exclusive edition, which it's still cool though. It's still a cool box. I'm not going to put it on my shelf as it is, because like I said, I hate tuck boxes, and I hate how these ones are wider than the game case, so they stick out too far. So I'll just be sticking the normal box on my shelf and putting that somewhere else on display. But yeah, as with always with Red Art Games, it came with a little bit of extra gumph. Last time I ordered, I got just a plain Red Art Games lanyard and a sticker. This time I got a lanyard for Jets and Guns Complete Edition, which I don't really know anything about that game, but it's still a cool little lanyard. I'll put it with the other one. I'm using it to like basically hang keyrings off that I get with games, because they're always those rubber ones that snap off easily. So yeah, I love it when companies like that send little things in with the products. Like Funstock always send stickers and stuff. It just adds a nice little personal touch, and I absolutely love it. That's only my second ever order from Red Art, but I do hope to deal with them again at some point. I keep having a look, and there's nothing really that I'm interested in buying off them at the minute, unless they re-release Sword of the Vagrant, which really looks like I'm going to enjoy it. Also on the Switch, Susie bought me, well, say she bought me, but I mainly asked for her to get it because I wanted something for her to play. But then she's bought games for herself to play as well. But she bought me My Sims Cozy Bundle. Like I said, I'm not like I said, actually, I don't think I mentioned it this time, but I do love a cozy game, and I'm really into cozy stuff at the minute. The My Sims games we had on the Wii originally. We had both of these games, but I don't think I ever actually played My Sims Kingdom. I think Susie played through that. I definitely played through the first one. We both did. They're like a cross between Animal Crossing and The Sims, and sort of more story driven. There's a definitive beginning, middle, and end, rather than on Animal Crossing and The Sims, where they're just open-ended gameplay. But they're just nice little simple kind of life sims. Really, really good, especially these first two, before they started going into like party games and racing stuff and everything. These first two were definitely very good games, and I'm really glad they've re-released them. I will play through these two again, but I did mostly get them because I wanted Susie to have something to play for me to watch her for a change. Don't think she thinks I enjoy watching her play games, but I do. This next one is one that I've been super looking forward to, and I'm actually a little bit disappointed by, and that's Caravan Sandwich. Now, I saw this sort of middle of last year and fell in love with it. It's a cosy sort of post-apocalyptic exploration game. And it's like post-apocalyptic, but there's nothing out there that's going to kill you. It's not like Fallout where there's monsters about and stuff. Basically, you've been off-world for a cataclysm, which didn't wipe out humanity, but it basically destroyed a lot of the ecosystem of the planet. And some people chose to stay behind anyway. And you've gone back to find your lost sister, who you thought dead, but she's apparently not. So you've gone back to have a look for her. That's sort of the basic gist of it. It's just exploration. It's like sort of kind of Breath of the Wildy, but without the enemies. And you've got a little van that you drive around in. It's a lot of fun. I looked at it last summer and absolutely fell in love with it. And then when the demo came out on Steam, I downloaded the demo and played it and loved it. And I've been just waiting for a physical copy to come out ever since. And it came out earlier this month. And I don't know why I opted for the Switch version. I thought maybe I'd prefer playing it handheld. And I wish, in my heart of hearts now, I'd gone for the PS5 version, because the Switch version runs like shit, and it looks like shit. It's just, honestly, it's not a pretty game. Whereas, I mean, it's always been sort of that cel-shaded, very simplistic graphics on the other systems, but it had a charm to it. The Switch version looks scrappy and unappealing. It judders along, probably the frame rate all going between 10 to 15 frames per second. Frame rate doesn't normally bother me, but when it's that low, it really does stand out. It's that bad that it's got kind of like a graphical kind of filter over it, which kind of like makes it look a little bit sort of watercolory. And it's that bad that when you're standing still, you can still see it juddering. Even when nothing's moving, you can just see the background sort of juddering about. There's an option for motion sickness mode, which I turned off. It wasn't getting motion sickness, but I turned it off, and it seems to make it run a little bit better. It's not unplayable by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm just disappointed in how it does run. I shouldn't have really got into this, because I'm going to go into it more on a future edition of what we've been playing, but that was my impression from this game. Just, if you're going to buy it, don't go for the Switch version. I don't know if the PS5 version's any better, but I know if we're playing the demo on Steam, that was a lot better. I was going to, because, I mean, there's no point trading this in. CEX don't even have it listed. I was going to wait and get a physical copy of it on the PS5 later on. Still play it now, but get a PS5 version later on. But I think I might just wait until I can get a Steam key for absolutely nothing and play it on Steam later. I just feel like it deserves, it's one of those games which would end up being quite special to me, I believe, if I could have a positive playthrough. A bit like Lake, or Road? I can never remember. I do love this game, but I can never remember what the number is. Where were we? Where were we at? Yes. Road 96. So yeah, I figure I could hold it in similar regard to like Lake or Road 96, where these games that, aren't the most well made, they aren't the most technically demanding, but because I've had such positive experiences playing with them, they've got like a massive soft spot in my heart for them. And I feel like this game should be like that, but because I'm not going to have a great experience playing the Switch version, I think it's going to be a while before it clicks on me that way. You never know, it might just click with me and I fall in love with it the way I want to. But yeah, I have noticed it seems to play better on handheld than it does on the TV as well, which is weird, because when it's docked, the Switch is supposed to have more power going through it, but I don't know. So those were the Switch games for now that Susie bought me. She got me another Switch game, but it only came out today, so it's only just arrived. So I'll get onto that later. Try and keep these in pick-up order. So she got me a bunch of PS5 games too, another 4 PS5 games. First one, which is one I've been looking at for ages. Now, I'm not an anime fan. I know he's revered as kind of an anime god for his artwork, and I know I think he died last year. That's Akira Toriyama. But I'm not a huge fan of him either. I think he can only draw like 3 faces. But yeah, this is a game that's based on a manga that he wrote, and that is Sandland. And I don't know why, but it caught my eye just before it first came out. It just looks interesting. Looks a bit sort of like, I think I'd not long since finished playing Fist of the North Star on the PS4. My memory's all over the place at the minute because I've just turned 40. Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, I think I'd just finished playing that at the time, and this looked sort of like a similar vibe to like Fallout and like Rage, Mad Max, that kind of thing. It's like a post-apocalyptic desert world where you're driving around in like homemade tanks and cars and stuff, and you think you play as like a demon. I think he's called Beelzebub or something. Something about it made me really want to play it. I really wanted to get the collector's edition too with the figure in because it looked awesome. But it was a little bit out of not out of my price range, but more than, because I didn't pay for it, but more than I would put that game up for sale for, sort of thing. But yeah, I've not played it yet, but I am very much looking forward to getting into that. If you love your Akira Toriyama, your Dragon Ball, your Dragon Quest, your Chrono Triggers, similar artwork. Another one, a AAA one this time, a quadruple A actually, I think they were calling it, because Ubisoft are fucking stupid. It's going to bring people down to overly criticise the game if you call it a quadruple A game, isn't it? But yeah, I still think it looks good. And that is Star Wars Outlaws. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan anymore. I was before the big reboot. It's not because of Disney. I just don't like how they, just got rid of a load of stuff which was canon before, which I'd really invested in. So that's why I stopped liking Star Wars. But yeah, Star Wars Outlaws, I think it looks good. It's one of the old, as I tried to coin a phrase in my last video, the Far Creeds. That Far Cry, Assassin's Creed kind of gameplay, where you the map clearing, that kind of thing, right up my street. Absolutely love it. I just think the game looks decent. I've been told by a few people it's decent. I've been told by, my buddy Max said it's really good. A guy at work, Chris, said it's really good. Gordon Gibson from Give84, I think he said he'd given up on it because it was too Ubisoft, but that was probably the reason why I didn't give up on Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I stopped doing everything on it because it was just too much. But I do love that kind of game, so yeah, I'm looking forward to having a crack on Outlaws. While we're on the subject of Ubisoft and their quadruple A games, she also bought me Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is the brand new Assassin's Creed game that's come out. I don't know what it is about this. I don't know if it's because of Ghost of Tsushima and the obvious comparisons it's going to draw. But a couple of people basically going, saying that it's not very good, but that's kind of mainly because of the woke side of it, which I don't even really understand. But I'm sure it's going to be great, but it's one that I'm sort of not as into playing as the rest of the games that I've got at the minute, so it's going to be a while till I get to it, but I'm sure it's going to be fucking good. They're all the last few Assassin's Creed games, apart from the very last one. The main ones before that, Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, fantastic games. So yeah, I think it's got sort of a similar mold to that, multiple playable characters, which is always cool if it's implemented right. Did originally have that coming from Amazon, but we cancelled it and went with the game collection, because for the same price they sent this cool steelbook, which folds out nicely, and that's what I'm going to have on my shelf. I'm going to transfer basically the contents of that box into the steelbook and have that one on my shelf. I love a steelbook. And this last PS5 game that she got me, which was kind of like the gamble, something I've been sort of looking at for a while because I love Quantic Dream games, and I know this was only published by Quantic Dream, it wasn't developed, so it doesn't fall into the sort of series from, that started off back on with Omicron, the Nomad Soul, and went all the way through Fahrenheit, Heavy Rain, and Beyond Two Souls, and Detroit. And I don't think they've done anything since, have they? So it doesn't really fall into that series, but I think it's sort of a similar kind of gameplay. And that is Dustborn. And it was developed by Red Thread, but it's produced by Quantic Dream under their Spotlight brand, which I think is kind of like a Fox Searchlight kind of thing, where they're trying to find the best sort of independent games. I could be wrong though. Again, though, it's a fucking tough box, and it's more packed in as well, so there's it's harder to get the box to go back in right without damaging it. We've got a standard version of the case, different cover to the tuck box, which I actually prefer. What else is in here? It's got this comic prequel thing, which is cool. Really nicely drawn comic actually, it's nicely illustrated. Don't know who the artist is, but it's really well done. And then I think once the story's finished in the comic, that's quite a cool little spread thing, isn't it? Don't really pick it up very well, but it's like pixel art, which is cool. Yeah. So after the comic's finished, there's a sort of art book section in the back with the character profiles and what have you. A couple of a sticker sheet. We love the stickers, don't we? Some postcards from the places you visit in the game, I'm guessing. And then this big old, I think it's a map, but it's got a poster on it as well. Quite an obnoxiously large poster. It's not even fully... There we go. And then on the back there's a map of North America. Cool. I think it's some kind of road trip kind of game, so, you know, that will never be folded up properly again. Cool, cool, cool. If the game's good, I'll find a place for that in the game room. So yeah, the reason I asked for that, I don't know if I mentioned earlier, I've been looking at the price for it, waiting for it to drop, and it finally dropped to under a tenner, which is not bad for a little collector's edition of a game, is it? So I didn't want to spend my own money on it. I've been trying not to spend, even though I ended up spending quite a bit this week. So I got Susie to just get me like a little sort of stocking filler for my birthday, and that was my main sort of pickups for, you know, the bulk of my birthday, the main section of my birthday. Susie bought a Sulphur game, which came out on my birthday. It actually came out on the 25th, and I've been kind of trying to come up with ways to which I could buy this anyway, because I do want to play it, but I want to play it, but I'm kind of embarrassed that I want to play it. But Susie ended up buying it anyway, because she got, with the Assassin's Creed Shadows, she got a little bit of cash back from the game collection as well, so I think she got like 12 quid back for it. So she put that towards Hello Kitty Island Adventure, which I believe is like an Animal Crossing it's sort of like a Sanrio take on Animal Crossing, My Sims, that kind of thing. Nice cozy game, based on like crafting, building friendships and stuff, no combat. Based on the Sanrio characters from Hello Kitty, and there's other characters as well. I've never really known much about Hello Kitty. I know some of the characters. There's well, what have we got on the front there? I think that's Cinema Roll at the top there. I know which thing, but I can't remember its name. Karopi the frog. I know Karopi because he's awesome. That's not Miffy, but I feel like Miffy should be included, but I don't believe she is. But I know there's stuff like Choco Card, Gudetama as well, but I don't know a lot about this kind of stuff. But it's just, I like cozy games. I want to have a go at this at some point, but I'm letting Susie play it on her own for a bit before I do. So yeah, I got some vouchers. I got 40 quid from my mum, because it turns out that that's how she does things on her big birthday. She just gives you £1 for every year you're born, because she gave my sister's partner 50 quid for his 50th, so that must be how it's done. So I got 40 quid voucher off my mum, and then another 40 quid voucher off my sister. So I put them together, and with 3p left to spare, I picked up Young Souls on the Switch, which is one I've been looking at for a bit as well. Which is like a beat 'em up with like RPG elements, a bit like Dragon's Crown by the sounds of it. Sounds really interesting. I'm hoping it's not too brutally hard like a lot of these games are, because I'm not very good at games, but I do like to play them. I picked up, and I really wish I'd got the physical copy of this, but it's a fucking limited run game, isn't it? So I'm never going to get a physical copy of that without shelling out like basically £50 to £100 it looks like on eBay. But I got the second one. That is Bud Spencer and Terence Hill Slaps and Beans 2, which is an awesome beat-em-up game, based around two sort of household name actors from Italy. They did like a lot like spaghetti western, not spaghetti westerns, but like that kind of thing, just buddy films, where like buddy cop films. They did a couple of westerns. They did all sorts, but they were like a double act in Italian movies in like the 60s and 70s, I believe. And for some reason they've now got a series of beat-em-up games based around them, which is awesome. But yeah, the first one was one of my favourite of this like new crop of like modern beat-em-ups. And when I found out they were doing a second one, I had to have a physical copy of it. I know that Dylan's got a physical copy of the first one because he collects limited run, and I think he should donate it to me, but you know, I don't think he will. I'm only joking. Yeah, the last game I bought with my vouchers was one I've been looking at again for ages. It's another Far Cry game. It's another Ubisoft quadruple A game, and that is Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Don't give a shit about Avatar, this franchise. I've not seen any of the films. I have the game on the 360, but I've never played it. But this was like essentially, I've been told it's like just another Far Cry game in all but name. So I'm hoping, because it's more based around sort of bows and arrows and stuff, I'm hoping, because one of the only Far Cry games I didn't like was Far Cry Primal, so I'm hoping it's not like that, but it's been a while since we've had a new Far Cry, so I'd welcome this. I'll just have to pretend I'm not a blue Smurf guy, and pretend it's got nothing to do with films that don't interest me. And lastly, this was a birthday present from Susan, but like I said, it only came out today. We had it pre-ordered. I thought it's not too far after my birthday, so I'll just wait for it to actually come out. And that's Little Kitty Big City, which is a game that's been out digitally for quite a while, but I wanted a physical copy of it. Yeah, I think it's just like a sort of sandbox game where you're sort of like in a city environment. You're just doing a little, like, you know, getting into scrapes and stuff, doing little quests for people. I think it's a little bit like Untitled Goose Game, but sort of on a bigger scale. And you're a cat instead of a goose. What is not to love about that? I just hope I haven't been bitten by getting it on the Switch again. I don't think I have, because I think Nate Retro1 has said that he's played it with his daughter, the digital version, and it was, you know, he said it was quite good. So that's everything. We've managed to get through that in less than an hour, which I'm kind of surprised at. I'm sorry if I've rushed through it a bit. What am I doing? Because it's been a couple of weeks since I posted a video. I said while I was off I was going to tidy up in here, and then I was going to do a room tour. I'll start tidying up in here, and as you can see, rearranged the room a bit, which took up a lot of time, so I still need to do a little bit more tidying in here before I can get a room tour done. It's just not tidy enough for me at the minute to do so. But the room tour is coming. And yeah, I'll probably, even though nobody watches, and it's just a kind of thing for me, I will get what we've been playing for March up in the next couple of weeks, but it's probably going to be late, considering it's going to be April next week. Thanks for watching. If you like what I do, then consider subscribing, but if you don't, then that's fine. And I hope I'll see you next time.